Hello and welcome to this video about input types. So input types are all of the different ways that we can interact with Bard Google. This is being constantly updated and there are new versions and new variations, and I will continue updating this course and the videos as fast as I humanly can. But I want to show you a couple of them that are relevant for us right now. For the purpose of this course, I think these are super interesting. So first is the text, and that's just the simple prompt that we did before. You type in some text and that's the prompt. The second one is voice, and we also covered that. When you click on the use microphone button, you can use of that. So there's a different input type. One thing that's interesting is that we can also use website links. So you can just copy paste the link, drop it in here, and then get it to somewhere. So for example, I'm going to go over here. I have a Wikipedia article on this mineral, just a random mineral. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I will paste it in here. And then I'm going to ask Bard to read the article and summarize it for us. So I'll say, summarize this article in 5 bullet points. And normally we would write a better prompt, and I'll talk to you about this in the prompt engineering section of the course on how to get the exact output that we're looking for. But this is good enough to get started. Maybe I just don't have time to read the entire article and I want to get the most important points. So go ahead and click enter. And now Google Bard is thinking, it is reading the article from Wikipedia, and bam, here we go. It summarized the entire article on this mineral from Wikipedia and this 5 bullet points. And so it starts, it is a leading molybdate mineral, I can't pronounce it, typical found in tablet crystal, and it did exactly what we asked for. It is named after this guy from Austria. And then he provides some additional information. Here's some more information. This is something that I find that Bard does that, for example, ChatGPT doesn't, is that Bard over here gives us not only the first bullet points, but actually then it gives us some more additional information with 4 more bullet points. And then it actually provides the source. ChatGPT would normally only answer with what you ask for. It doesn't provide additional information, and it doesn't cite the source. In this case, the source is obvious because we actually pasted the link, so it's using that as source. But I've seen this happen with other scenarios when I might ask about something. So for example, let's see if we can, nope, I didn't want to Google it. Ask about something else. So tell me more about diamonds. It's a random topic. I want to see if it will generate a source for us as well. That's what I'm trying to show you here, so you can see all of the answer. Okay, so in this case, it didn't give us the source, and this is really unpredictable. I can't say the times what it does, it doesn't. It's obviously sourcing this information from somewhere, but that's not available as a source right now. You can see over here, we also have view other drafts. So this is the first draft that we got, but there are other variations actually. So you can click on draft number 2 and you can get more versions. If you didn't particularly like the first article, you can get another one. The best way to get what you want is to be way more specific with the prompt. And so if you're doing it for your own research, or if you're doing this, if you're asking something as a student, or if you're trying to build a business and you want to get a better copy for your website, you would specify that in the prompt. And again, we'll cover that in prompt engineering sections of the course. But you know now that you can have different drafts of the article, and sometimes it gives us the source, but not always. So this is a quick introduction into how to use links. So this is one of the input types is website links. We're continuing with input types. And I'm going to go ahead, and we just did website links. And in this one, we're going to talk about the other 3. One of the most exciting ones for me is YouTube links. So the incredible thing about Bard is that you can attach a link from YouTube, from any video. It will understand what that video is. And then you can use Bard to do whatever you want with that link. So I'm going to go ahead and open my YouTube over here, and I have a video from Tony Robbins about breaking free from the noise. I will copy this link. I'm going to paste it over here. One thing for you to know, and I'm going to warn you, is that sometimes when you just paste the link, without the title of the video, sometimes it gets it wrong. So we're gonna try that out and see if it gets it wrong. If it does, you can simply just add the title of the video. But I'm gonna try just like this to show you that sometimes it can get it wrong. So I'm going to say, write an Instagram post based on this video. So let's see if we can. All right, so caption, your latest video from Diamond Expert. So you see, it did not understand the link, and it's talking about diamonds, which was the previous article. So it is not perfect, but there's a very quick workaround, and I'm going to go ahead, click this, and I'll say link, and I'm going to add another piece of information, say title. And I'm just going to copy, paste this title, and now it should work. So let's see if it gets it right this time. Google is thinking, the star is spinning, and here we go. Okay, so this is the correct video. Are you feeling overwhelmed by the noise of everyday life? Do you feel like you're constantly bombarded with information and stimuli? If so, you're not alone. In this video, Sage Robbins and Craig, and also Tony Robbins and Craig Spodak, I got the name correct, share their insight on how to break free from the noise and reclaim your inner peace of mind. Even that gives us hashtags, tells us what image to use. See, this is fantastic. Call to action, and some additional detailed information. So it says the video is about 20 minutes long. Is that accurate? No, it's actually 10 minutes long. See, it's not perfect. Talks about Sage Robbins, life coach and author. I'm not going to play the video. Actually, yeah, so the video is only with Sage. It's not with Tony Robbins. So this was actually accurate. And it talks about both of the people in the video and then some other stuff. Yeah, so this is really good. So that's a little tip for you. If you are using the YouTube link, always include the title of the video as well, because otherwise, for some reason, it tends to get it wrong, even though obviously the link is the most precise thing we can give it, but that's okay. The other two input types, one is location data. So when you're using Google Bard, Google knows your location if you gave it the recommendation, or if you allowed for the privacy settings, and it should know that we are in New York based on our access right now. So that is another input type where you're not manually typing it in, like, hey, I'm in New York, but it will just inherently know. And the final input type that we have available now that I think is exciting is device sensors. So device sensors within your phone or your computer, if you give it access, then Google Bard will have access to the device sensors. And through the sensors, you might be able to control your smart home and some of these other connected devices through your main device. So this is all super exciting, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do in the future. Of course, we're going to focus on the topics of this course, so we're not going to dive into all of those, but this is a quick introduction in the way you can interact and what are the input types for Bard. Next video, we're going to talk about the output types, so what you can expect to get back from Bard. This lecture, we're going to talk about the output types. So let me show you what are all the output types that are relevant for us. Starting off with text. We're not going to show that because you've seen that. That's very basic. When Bard, sorry, not ChatGPT. When Bard outputs different types, text is what we normally receive. We can also get code. So we can ask Bard for some basic code. We can get links to the outside world, meaning the internet. And you've seen that, links outside of the Bard environment. Images from the internet, it can give us tables and lists. So you've seen the text, so we're not gonna go deeper into that. I'll show you a showcase of code. This is just a very, very brief showcase. So I'll say, generate a sample HTML code for a breath work website. We do have an actual coding project. So later on in this course, you can scroll through the section, the lectures, and you'll see that we actually have a section with lots of really cool real-time projects And there we're going to play a bit more with the code so you can follow along. But here I just wanted to give you a sample, a taster of what it could be like. And here we go. Bart, the genius that it is, generated code for us, a sample HTML code for a breathwork website. And so there is a header, welcome to the breathwork website. We didn't give it any information, no input from us. So this is just generated what it thinks we need. Breathwork is a powerful tool, blah, blah. And so just a sample text. And there's a menu with about and techniques and meditation exercises. And that's basically it. So it's super, super simple, but it can generate code. Very, very powerful. You can create a simple website, and then here's a breakdown of the code. It's actually teaching us what is in the code. It says that there's the tag, and it talks about what it does, what it defines, and here's the heading, the H1, which we have over here. So super powerful stuff, very exciting. Later sections, if you want to check out full coding project, jump straight there. Another output type is links to the outside world. You've already seen that, but I'll give you a quick example, and I'll say, give me links to the top 3 most popular VPN services. Bam. And now it's going to think. It'll search the internet, and based on Bard's opinion, it will give me links to the top 3 VPN services. You see, it's using Express, it's using NordVPN, the one that we used earlier, which we have that student discount if you want that, and Surfshark. So it gives us links, and if I were to click on one of these, it'll go ahead and open the NordVPN website. Bam, very simple. So we can get that. We can also get images from the internet. So I could ask, give me an image of an iPhone that's with a purple background. Let's make it a bit more complicated. Background for an Instagram post. And the genius Bart now is thinking, the wheels are spinning, and here we go. It got an iPhone with a purple background for an Instagram post, which I would consider a great success. Purple background, perfect. So you can get images from the internet. And another cool thing is that I really enjoyed is using tables. So let's say generate a table of the top earning SaaS categories this year. So this is more of a, it's more of a list question, but I said I want a table anyways. And so here we go. It generated a table for us where you have the different categories. So CRM, HSM, ERP, security, marketing, sales, blah, blah. The revenue and the growth that it has had. So that is actually super cool. You can get it to generate tables for you. Absolute magic. And the final list is lists. Give me a list of top 10 ideas for a YouTube video about SaaS categories. And we're going to follow on the previous question. And now we'll just get a sample list of ideas. So you see, it does a kind of a listicle approach. And yeah, here we go. Top 10 SaaS categories by revenue, future of SaaS, how to choose the right SaaS, all of this. If you wanted to make a content about this, this would be a great research tool to give us. And then you can get a list of bullet points about the script, and you can kind of keep moving forward. But these are all of the different output types that we have from Bart. I hope you have enjoyed this. In the next video, we're going to dive into how to start writing really, really good prompts. So far, the prompts have been super simple. You just see one sentence, give me a list. And that's good if you just want kind of generic ideas. But if you want a really good output, we need to have a really good input. And I have a specific formula that I use that I will share with you in the next video. Let's go. Another video. In this video, I think it's really exciting because I'm going to explain to you the concept of zero-shot prompting, one-shot prompting, and few-shot prompting. So this is a concept that originated from zero-shot, one-shot, and few-shot working with the models, the way engineers train the models was through the training of the setup, but we're using it for prompting. So let me just explain what that means. We're going to start with zero-shot prompting. So zero-shot prompting is that we're going to write a prompt, and we're not going to specify any other information or anything else. It's just a very, very simple prompt. And this is what we've been doing so far in most of the examples. We haven't really elaborated on any of the prompts. So I'm just going to do a quick example and say, give me 3 ideas for ebooks I can write about Instagram marketing. So this is just a very simple prompt saying, give me 3 ideas for ebooks I can write about Instagram marketing. And here it goes. Sure, 3 ideas, and it generates these ideas. So this is the concept of zero-shot prompting. You're not giving it any other information or any other leads or anything else. Now we're going to move on to few-shot prompting. One-shot prompting. So let's do one-shot prompting. So one-shot prompting, meaning that we are going to give it a bit of information or additional training that the BARD system can use to understand what we mean. So let me give you an example. Over here, I've opened Amazon and I've got a Amazon Choice phone case. And we're going to write a description for a phone case that's similar to this. So I'm going to copy this description and say, write a description for an Amazon product. It is an iPhone case. The following is an example. Our description will, or our product, let's say, let's target this to a specific audience so it knows how to write the prompt. Our product will be targeted to fans of the Office TV show. So I just want to make sure it doesn't write the exactly same thing or something too similar. I just want to change it up. And so I'm going to hit submit, and BARD is reading the description, and it says, sure, it's a product description for an iPhone case. The Office iPhone case. Show your love of the Office with this official licensed iPhone case. And it does write the description. So it didn't follow this format, but it took it as an input and it created another description that, in BARD's opinion, is better than the previous description. So that is the concept of one-shot prompting. Give it one example and it goes there. I'm going to cancel this. And now we're moving on to few-shot prompting. So as you can imagine, few-shot prompting means where you give it several examples of the way that it could be. So we're going to provide several examples for our prompt. Let's dive in. So in this cool few-shot prompting, I have a couple of apps opened here, and we're going to get BARD to generate a name for our app. We have a new meditation app. Or let's make it stretching and yoga app. Create a cool name based on these top selling app names from meditation. So all of the apps that I have here are meditation apps. So I need to specify that these are meditation apps, because if I didn't specify that it's a different category, it might just use this very similar ones. And so I'm going to say, generate the title and subtitle. Cool. So I'm going to copy paste all of these. We can delete the rating that's not needed. That's not part of the actual title. And copy the soothing sound, sleep balance. I guess that's not really a meditation app, but it's a sound app. It's okay. And breathe, sleep meditation. One more? We got one more. Okay. Let's do this final and last one. So this is few-shot prompting, where I gave it several examples to learn from. I'm going to go ahead, hit enter, and it is hopefully figuring out that the first one is title and then subtitle. And so here we go. We get titles, stretch and breathe, yoga flow, mindful stretch, yoga relax, and subtitles. Perfect. So This is few shot prompting. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is just to show you that the more examples you provide, the better outcome you're going to get. But of course, it's also a return on your investment of your time. You don't want to have to spend 5 minutes on every prompt, finding examples and putting them in there. So it depends on what you want. If you're just kind of looking for ideas and brainstorming and you want to have a kind of open and free environment, then it's great to just say it like that. However, if you want a very specific outcome and you want BART to give you something very similar to competition, but maybe from different categories, then you want to use few shot prompting. In my opinion, I found the best results from one shot prompting, where I either give an example or I really provide detailed information, what in my opinion is important and what makes a good shot. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video introduction on 0, 1, and few shot prompting. In the next video, we're going to talk about the structure or the format of your prompt. And so far, we've only been doing very, very simple prompts, kind of one sentence, but I want to dive a little deeper and show you the true colors, the power of BART when we do a bit more of a sophisticated prompt engineering. So let me show you what I call the ultimate prompt formula, which is easy to remember, and you can actually copy paste and use this formula yourself. So let's dive into the next video. In this video, we're talking about the basic formula for your prompt. And so I already have it ready over here, and this is a very simple example. So when writing the formula, and when I do just a quick question, I just ask the question and then it gives me the response. But sometimes I want to write a more complex formula because I want to get a more specific output out of it. So that's what we have here. I like to start off with the format. And so the format is meaning you're asking for something specific, what the format of it is. So maybe you're asking for an article, or you want a list, or you want a table. And so we need to specify what that means. So I'm going to say, write a LinkedIn article that uses professional and sarcastically funny language. So this is the basic format. We want the article language. Start with an intro and then several paragraphs of the main body of the article. Make it easy to read and include some bullet points as well. So this is the format that we want. I'm going to delete this word because we don't need that. And then ask what is the goal? What is the outcome of this? What are we asking for? The article is about how AI is beginning to affect mental health industry, specifically how AI is being used to diagnose mental health issues from objective biomarkers that were not visible to humans before. So I'm writing this because it's actually something that I'm working on. So I'll delete the goal, and then let's do the context. And so in this case, the context would be, I am the CEO of a company called Vitality Therapeutics, and we have released our first MVP product. I want to share more articles and information about our journey and about AI and mental health in general. This article is part of my content strategy to make the company more visible and provide valuable information in the professional setting of LinkedIn. And so now it knows what it is. And in the formula, we would also include an example. So I'm going to attach a very brief example. So over here, I have an article that I wrote about the difference between growth and self-abandonment. I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to use it inside BART as, an example. This is example of an article I wrote. use it as a, oh, this is not an example. This is an article I wrote, actually. This is an article I wrote using an example in crafting your article. And I'm going to hit. So we have used the formula. We told it the format, the goal. We give it the background and an example. So here it goes. How AI is changing the mental health industry by Darius Mora, and he's using the background information I provided. And here I wrote the entire article. It's being using an emoji because I believe I've used emojis in the other article, and it's using the general format. So this is a very short article. We could easily ask it to elaborate, put more paragraphs. It did include also bullet points, which I asked it. So this is my way of, if I'm doing a bigger task, for example, I'm not just asking a quick question, but I want it to write an article for me. You want to provide more information. And so in this prompt, it's kind of a bigger informational prompt. And now it outputted something that I could actually take and I could edit it and I could use it as an article inside LinkedIn or Medium or blog post or whatever that might be. So I hope you have enjoyed this video on the format. And the final video in this section, which I think will be really interesting for you, is to hear what are all the different variables that we can include in the prompt. So the format we covered of the four main parts of the format, but there are all kinds of variables that include. One of my most interesting ones is, for example, the tone of voice or tonality or specificity. There's lots of different variables. So I'll show you the most important ones and relevance for you to craft amazing prompts and get amazing results in a return from Bard. So if you're ready, let's dive into the next one. Welcome to this video on prompt variables. In this video, I'm going to show you the different variables that affect the outcome of your prompt. And this is very exciting because you can craft your prompt if you know what are the different variables that you can play with. The first one, and my favorite one, is tone or tonality. Tone is the first prompt variable that we're going to explore in this video, and there's a couple more. And this really changes the output of Bard, and I'm very excited to show you. So we're going to start out by just giving it a very simple assignment to Bard. I'm going to say, write a description for a YouTube video about the competition between Bard and ChatGPT. So this is a very, very simple prompt. It's very broad. It's not descriptive. It's not a great prompt. If you had a specific video, obviously you'd want to provide more information, but I'm just trying to demonstrate the different styles that we can, different tones that we can ask for. So the description we got back is title and description. In this video, we take a look at a competition between Bard and ChatGPT, two of the most advanced AI chatbots on the market. We'll discuss their strengths, weaknesses, and see how they compare in terms of their ability to generate text, answer questions, and solve problems. And then we have the timestamps, call to action, hashtags, and a lot more information that Bard gave us that we didn't necessarily ask for, but it's nice to have all of that stuff. And I'll say, now, just focus on writing the description. This time, write it in a sarcastic tone. And so when I talk about different tones that we can use and ask for, this is one of them. So one example is sarcastic. We're going to wait for it to generate. The wheels are spinning. And we got a response. And so here is title and description. In this video, we take a look at a competition between Bard and ChatGPT, to the most advanced chatbot. We'll discuss their strengths, weaknesses, and how they compare their ability. So the description hasn't actually changed a lot in sarcasm, but the title did. So Bard versus ChatGPT, the battle of the AI chatbots, or who can be more incompetent. This is a sarcastic title. Bard didn't focus on the description. So as you can see, even though we gave it a precise thing we asked for, is just focus on description, it still gave us all the other stuff as well. And Actually, the description itself didn't change much. The description is actually very similar to the first one over here. What did change, however, is look at these. What are the bar chat GPT? So weaknesses, the timestamps. And here it just added lol or ha. So some of it has changed. This is one way that you can use it. And I have noticed that ChatGPT is actually better at this type of tones or tonality than BART, but is one of the variables that you can use. So using a sarcastic tone. Let's try another tone. Right now, only write write the description, nothing else, and use a funny and quirky tone of voice. And so we'll see if it understood what we're trying to get at. One tricky part of, and yeah, so it didn't understand that I just want a description. It again gave me everything else. And we asked for something funny. So it should be giving sophisticated two rivals head to head shoulders about the rest. These are two chatbots are so incompetent, they're practically geniuses. Bard can't even answer simple questions without making a fool of itself. So it's making fun of itself, which is good. Even worse, it's like a toddler with the battle of chatbots. Okay, so I actually did focus on the description. We didn't get it still gave me the title, which I didn't ask for, but this time we didn't get the timestamps and hashtags and everything else. So we got the title here, and it is more humorous. So actually, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to like this one because it was a better answer. Great. Now do the same and use a professional tone of voice. And we'll see if it can generate just the description. Okay, so we go back to timestamps and everything else. And in this video, we compare two of the leading AI chatbots on the market, BART and ChatGPT. We discuss their strengths and weaknesses, and we see how they compare in terms of reliability. So it kind of went back to the original first prompt, the first answer, which was more professional. So as you can see, the tone of voice is one of the variables that we can use. It is not perfect, and BART is improving over time, and it'll understand better and better. Another variable is length. So you can ask it to be short or long. Now write just the description again and make it longer. Description again in a sarcastic tone of voice and make it longer. So length is another variable that we can use. There are constraints to how much we're gonna get out, but as you can see, it is giving me just the description, and this time it is longer, and it's adding some additional text. Great, now do the same and make it very short. So we're not specifying how many characters. There's another thing you can do. I have noticed that these AI chatbots, whether it's BART or ChatGPT, don't really understand characters very well. So if you tell it how many characters you want, that's not ideal. But you can do longer and shorter. And as you can see, we got a much shorter description. So that's another variable. Another variable is a format. So right now we're getting lines of text. We can ask for different format. Do the same, but make the description into paragraphs instead of just lines of text. So you can ask for paragraphs, bullet points, you could do lines of text, you could do numbered lists, all kinds of stuff in terms of the format. And here we got two separate paragraphs, and is more paragraphy. I would have liked it to actually not have the space between the sentences, but that's easily fixable. You can do that yourself. So that's another variable. And then another one is specificity. This one was not specific at all. As you saw, we just said ask for a description. And so when you're more specific, you would say the video, adjust the description for my target audience. And I'm going to say women between the ages of 20 to 30 living in Texas, for example, who are fans of the TV show Friends. So now we're getting a bit more specificity and we're asking for a description, and ideally it should reference, for example, Friends as a TV show, or somehow compare it and make it reliable, relatable in that sense to my audience. And so as you can see right from the start, it says calling all women in Texas who love Friends. So go straight to that. And then he talks about the different description and a lot of the stuff that we had in it before. And for example, it's using when asked, what's Chandler's job? Responded, he's a transporter. So Bart, I'm referring to it. Bart is referring to the Friends show. And as you can see, this is how you can get more specificity. And when you're doing something like this, it's good to give it more background and more information. We talked about it in previous sections on how to add more light to it, but that's another variable to control. And then a final one that I want to share with you is factual versus creative writing. So you could ask it to cite examples in specific situations in real life, or you can get it to just be creative and make things, out of the blue. So let's say, write a sample script of a scene of a new TV show. It's a combination of Friends and Game of Thrones taking place in 2030. And so this is a highly creative task. Up until now, we were doing very factual stuff, asking it to do specifically related to real world. And now we're asking it to write a new TV show, and this is fiction. And so you have six friends sitting around the coffee table, and it's referencing Game of Thrones. It's the characters from the show Friends, and I don't see a lot of references to 2030 or anything in that sense, but this is, again, it's not perfect, but you can use the variables of factual or creative writing in how you want it to respond. And it can make up stories for you, or it can synthesize the internet and bring stories for you. So an example of doing a factual research, for example, you could ask, list the all the episodes and all the characters in the Friends TV show, and it'll give you a factual list. So these are just examples of some of the prompt variables that you can use and that are at your disposal to craft the prompt. I hope you enjoyed this video. Now you have the basic understanding of prompt engineering, and I'm super excited for you because you know the fundamentals. And in the next section, we can start talking about some of the superpowers of Bard.